you know, but that's not what I was expecting at all. A travel show host, interviewing a cruise ship captain, and then everything kind of unfolded from there. The universe conspired to put you in this position, which that's incredible. So,
100%.
so El Salvador, for people that don't know much about it, it's kind of hard to get out of, right? Because, like you said, it's kind of, socioeconomically, there's not a lot of money there. It's a poor country. Um, so there might not be a lot of opportunities to get out, to go adventure out into the world and travel, or so on and so forth, maybe education. So were like, when you decided, you were already doing all those things because of your previous career, but when you decided to join yachting after you met the chef, was your family or your friends concerned, or resentful or jealous? Because I know our culture, being Latino, we're very family oriented. Yeah, we're supposed to stay together forever and live in the same house and take care of each other. So were people like thinking you were crazy to do this, or was everyone supportive?
Well, actually, I stopped living with my mom since the age of 18. Like, since very little, I have very clear in my head the day I turn 18, I want to be out of my home and I want to start to do my own thing. Yeah, I mean, I was just like, I couldn't wait to have my own like legal independence. I work since I'm 14, so I save a lot of money to be ready when I'm turning 18 to be out of home. So at the time when I joined this industry, I was already detached in that sense from my family.
Mm-hmm.
So I just remember when I got the news that I can be part of this industry and I can go to Palma and find a job. It was Tuesday. By a Friday, I was already in Palma. But I came on Thursday to tell my mom and my grandma and my siblings, hey, actually, I'm leaving tomorrow. And I don't know when I'm coming back, So
And that was 7 years ago. I haven't seen him since.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
No, literally, I go to El Salvador every 2 years, maybe. Not because I don't want to, but it's kind of difficult, like when you want to build a career, when you know like the rest of them. For example, I know so many people, they do the cadetship and start like when they're like 15, and by the age of 20 they already officers and they have all their certificates. It's kind of different for us when you like join the industry like by dog walking and you don't have experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
So since my first yacht, I've been really committed to like just work, 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 work. So yeah, I just get the chance to go home every like 2 years maybe. But it's what it is. But I keep in touch with my family. My mom prays for me every Friday. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good. So earlier, I was mentioning how I've never met anyone from Central America yachting. I have met two Mexican guys on a yacht in New York that I worked on, and they're brothers. And so they go everywhere together, and they always work on the same yachts, and they take care of each other. And but I was so excited to meet them. We're talking Spanish, we're playing our music together, and it was like, like it felt like home. And I was wondering, have you encountered any other you Central Americans or South Americans, Latinos around, like since you
Latinos
started?
in general. Yes, I have actually. The first person that I met, it's from Panama, Anna. She's one of my best friends now. And then I met Paul through Anna, a Mexican guy, an amazing person as well. And I know somebody who knows a Salvadorian who's an officer. but I don't have the pleasure to meet him yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just a few out there, and I would love that it could be more of us. Like you said, maybe the thing I miss the most about anything in general from Latin America is to speak Spanish. Like, oh my God, I can go crazy when like sometimes my yacht goes to Spain and I'm like, yeah, this is the Spanish from Spain.
I bet. You can't wait to get off
Yes.
the boat and like go talk to anybody that will listen to you.
Yeah, I'm like, hola, ¿cómo estás? I'm absolutely brilliant about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like you said, not many people out there, and I think big part of this it has to do with the educational system in Latin America. Um, not many people is like actually conscious about the context of what is the life there, and even less about the education system. And like, for example, I can talk about what I know, which is El Salvador. We don't have anything like nautical careers, mariners, or anything like that. Um, in my second year of yachting, I was just like thinking, maybe I can do like my mates, go to my country and start to do like a cadetship thing. But I realized that in El Salvador, we don't have that. So if you want to do that, you have to join the army first and serve for 2 years, and then you can be transferred to the Navy. And that's the only way that you like sort of like in touch with the career, but not specifically like you go and do the CCW and all the things that we do. And the options of career in Latin America definitely are shorter than in the United States or New Zealand, Australia, or Europe in general. English speaking countries, they have more like, it's like a fan of options, like they can study to be yacht designers, they can be engineers. For us, it's not like that. So I think that it has a lot to do, like the options of the educational system in every single one of these countries is a little bit more reduced. I am aware that in Panama, they have same like sort of programs
Right.
to study, but if you want to do that as a Salvadorian, then I have to be able to go and live in Panama. And that's a difficult thing to do. Not many people is like, they don't have the opportunity to do these things.
Or the means, because the price of these classes are to go to maritime school. And how can someone that makes $300 a month, how long will that take to save? And that's with not including your living expenses, So it definitely is a privilege to be able to travel to the places where you can get the education, and another privilege to be able to afford to pay for the courses to work in this industry.
Yeah.
So it's definitely imbalanced. And if someone were to start a maritime school, it would have to be a nonprofit with donations to give people scholarships to go to the school, right?
Yeah, definitely. Or just the governments to like open their minds and think there is like more options that people can actually do to make the country grow.
Right.
I mean, El Salvador territory, like half of the country, it's water.
Yeah.
Like, we are in the Pacific coast, and we have more rights over the water than land, But for some reason, over the past times, the governments have not seen ahead, like what the new generations can do. Like typically, there are people that study to be a lawyer, accountant. I'm not saying that it's not good or it's not right, but life, it doesn't stop there. I mean, people can have dreams and like, you know, dream about to be like an engineer or something and have the opportunity to do that. Unfortunately, in El Salvador, we have only one national university, and people apply for this university, but not everybody get the chance to get into the university because the demand is so high and the spaces are just such a few. And then if you want to go to the university and you don't made it to the national university, then you have to go to private university. And if I'm not wrong, I think the cheapest one is like $60 per month. Plus, every 6 months you have to pay like 200 for the inscription. So,
right.
You know,
So
the
yachting,
system is.
I was just going to say, so yachting would be a great way to help the economy and also give people more options and career choices and education. That's huge. So would it be safe to say you're the only one, the only Salvadorian yachty like in the world?
I'm definitely, based on my journalist friends resources, I'm the only woman who does private yachting. Yes. So I'm very blessed to be the first one. Yeah.
Well, making yourself visible and sharing your story is what's going to open doors for other young women that, you know, look like you in terms of, you know, being Latina, being from Central America. And that's what we're trying to do, right? I do have another question on that topic is, did you ever feel, you know, or were you ever in a position where someone didn't hire you or underestimate you because you're a woman? Or because you're Latina, have you ever gotten any weird comments or just been felt that you were being treated differently than your male counterparts because of your ethnicity or because of your being a woman?
I definitely been pulled to the interior more often than the boys.
Oh, right,
for
right.
sure.
To help, absolutely. I can see that.
Yeah.
First of all, let's put it this way.
You know.
Men are clumsy. First of all, they're clumsy. You know, like I can't imagine them like trying to juggle multiple plates and put stuff down. They can't multitask. They're slow. You know, these things don't come naturally.
Well, definitely, I'm not the best stewardess. Like I tried, and you know, funny story is in Latin America we don't have duvets. We don't have thick duvets because it's hot here. We just have like thin sheets. And I remember on my first yacht, the shipper told me to put the duvet in the washing machine. I put the entire thing, and she went nuts with me. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that you can't watch it. I've never seen a duvet before.
Right. How would we know that though? Naturally? That's the thing. In the beginning, I was a horrible stewardess in the beginning too. I finally am to a place where I'm confident in what I'm doing. But I had so many silly mistakes like that to the chief stew, it's common sense. But to someone like us that are more naturally inclined to be more, you know, mechanical minded or like, you know, more into tools or like sports or athleticism, like sometimes that stuff isn't common sense. I'm sorry. I didn't know that, you know, I couldn't just wash everything together.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've all been.
Well, definitely to answer your question, I wouldn't, from the Latino or just a different kind of a non-European or non-American crew member, treat different, maybe not in the sense that I've been treated equally in that matter. But sometimes it comes across with things for like food taste or like, you know, language barriers, when people like get upset with me because I don't get it in the first time. Because maybe they speaking in a slang and I don't get it, or, or the accent, and I'm like, excuse me, can you repeat that, please? And you know, in that sense, maybe not. But as a woman, we constantly hear experiences nowadays about female captains, female engineers, you know, like the heads of a yacht. We just heard like a few stories about the juniors, and that's like seeing the things from below. It's different. But I remember in one of my yachts, I got hired initially as a deckhand, and then eventually they start like a sell process. So they start to let go of people, and they kept me, but they say, so you're gonna cook for the rest of the crew, you're gonna do interior, you're gonna help on deck, and you're gonna assist the engineer when he needs it. And I'm like, yeah, that's not a problem. For how long is gonna last this situation? And he turned and he said, I don't know. So then I remember that like 10 months after, we got a charter going on during like in the very middle of the summer. We thought that nothing was going on in the summer for us because we were on sale, but from the nowhere, they decided that we're gonna do some charters. So they start to recruit crew, and I was in chats with the heads of the department, and I'm like, so when the rest of the crew comes, can I go back on deck? And they were like, no, actually no, because you know the interior better, so we'd rather for you to stay inside than go back outside. And for me, as being a junior and a woman as well, it's so hard to come and step up and ask questions, or like, you know, just try to like clear your head with the right answers without sound cocky or disrespectful, which is really important, because I've seen so many young people on yachts, they like start and they come with a cocky attitude. And in this industry, it's ruled by ranks. So, and it's really hard to sometimes for me make questions without like people perceiving the sense of I'm giving an attitude back. So, and I said, but I also know very well the deck on this yacht. And he turned and said, no, we actually rather some muscles outside. So we just list some few guys already. And I realized that they hire even green deckhands when I already had some experience, and I was just like really hurt. And I was just like, I think this is the moment when I need to look for a new yacht, you know.
Because you don't want to work for someone that would say something like that and overlook you and assume that you're not as strong as someone else because you're a female. And you know, there's been times on deck where, you know, I'm the smallest person, and when when you're pulling a fender over the rail and you're like, oh, I'm 120 pounds and I'm 5'3", it's a fender is the same a fender is the same size as me. So sometimes when people are watching me try to pull a fender, you know, on board, I like that no one is like, let me get that for you, or, oh, here, let me help you. I like that. But, you know, I see people giggling because I'm sure it looks funny with me doing all this weird motions, and I'm like, and I finally get it. And, you know, sometimes I kind of trip a little bit or whatever. And so I understand maybe the perspective, like, we need someone that can pull it up on the first try, and someone bigger, someone taller, someone stronger. But, you know, over time, when you get when you've been doing it enough, you get used to it, and everything becomes muscle memory, and you get stronger. And you need that opportunity instead of someone just giving up on you and just hiring a man with less knowledge than you in that
Yeah,
area. Because yeah, they may be stronger, but it's gonna take time.
100%. I remember in my first yacht, I was so weak. Yes. I remember on my first yacht, I was so weak. And then the captain just started to take me like 5 a.m. to the gym. And she's like, we're going to start to train. So, and I'm like, okay, fine. And we used to finish like around 7 p.m. every day and waking up like at 4:45 to go to the gym. And eventually you build up.
Mm-hmm.
And you get stronger, but you suffer a little bit in the beginning. Now, like you say, I'm you same height. It's like 1 meter 57. You know, I'm only small, but I know my limits.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the important as a female on deck. Like, know the right time when to say, I'm sorry, but I can't do this. Like, be humble enough to say, I need help. I need help with this, or I don't know how to do this and that. And it's just knowing what are you capable of. Luckily, on this boat, we are 4 on deck. The rest of them are men, but they are gentlemen in the sense they will open the door for me. But on deck, we work equally. On board, we have lines of 60 meters, 40 meters. And I mean, we all get on with that, you know.
Yeah.
I do it on my way. I mean, the line is super heavy and it's way bigger than me.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually you build up a strength. And I've worked with other females on other yachts before when it's like their first experience, and they were like, why are the boys not helping us? Why are the boys this and that? And I'm like, you need to get stronger. Like, you can't ask for help for everything because people need you to be on the top of it or on a step ahead.
Right.
And that's what I learned so far. Like, try to be on a step ahead of everyone, because in the end, if I'm not tall enough, if I'm not strong enough, what is the characteristic that makes me special to stay on board? You know,
that makes you an asset. You want to make yourself an asset. You want to make everybody's job easier, and you want to bring something to the table. You don't want to be a hindrance. You don't want to be the weak link. And you definitely, if you have to stop your crew member every 5 minutes to be like, how do you do this? Can you help me lift this? Can you do? Then you're taking them away from their project and their task at hand, which is just slowing down the entire team. And that is what actually gives women on board a bad name, or women on deck a bad name. That's not the way to go. That if it's one thing to be humble and admit, like you said, I don't know how to do this, or I can't lift this. But if you're just using that as an excuse to get out of work, or to be, I don't know, whatever people think, then it's going to ruin it for the rest of us and those of us that are good on deck.
Yes, I remember for this current yacht that I'm on, they say they were needing somebody with a lot of experience and very strong. And I said, I have some years on deck, but it's many things that I don't know how to do. For example, how to use a crane, things like that. And the officer asked me, how you don't know how to do this? And it's not playing the woman card, but in the end, it was like in every yacht, or most of them, not saying all of them, but in most of them, who gets the opportunity to operate or to drive them, like the main tender or things like that, is usually just the bosun or the chief officer or the lead deckhand. And they were like, oh, we will teach you eventually. We'll teach you in the future. We're going to have some time.
And then they never do.
We know. it's never time. I mean, we run out of the clock every single day.
Yeah.
And if you don't, yeah, and they were like, we teach you eventually, and it's never time for that. So I learned how to be verbal and that honest. Like, I don't know how to do this. Please, can you teach me? Or, and I remember one of my captains one day told me, and they say, so not everybody will be will to teach you things. So sometimes you have to learn things for yourself.
Yeah.
I learned that
That's
lesson.
true. Oh man, there's so much to digest here because I think you are also the only female deckhand I've spoken to on the show as well. So, hearing all of this that you've gone through, how hard you work to get to where you are, and how your career has gone is super inspiring, not only for me, but there's so many other female deckhands out there that are trying to work their way up. And it's just been so refreshing and so nice to hear your perspective. Seriously, because I've kind of been stuck in a rut lately and kind of like down and like over the industry kind of in a way because I was getting a little bit discouraged. So speaking to you has really kind of like lifted my spirits and like makes me want to get back on the horse and try again. So thank you for that. And thank you for making time for me.
No, thank you to put me on the spot and be free to speak about this. Like I said, usually we see like the heads of departments speaking about these things, and not from a junior perspective. Like I said, sometimes it's difficult to come forward and express our concerns, express like how we feel about the work. Like every day on deck is a learning process, and the yacht that I'm currently on, it's a new build. So like when we came here, we didn't even have uniforms, so we have to start like to build everything from the scratch. So it was kind of challenging to come and say to my officer, I think that we need this and that, I think that, but he was just like encouraging enough and very supportive to say, what do you think about this? So do you think this will be better, or like assign me tasks that I never done before? Now I know how to manage a crane, maybe slower than the rest of the boys. I need more practice, but
Well, that's
and
great. But
I'm
at
able
least
to
you
do it.
finally you got the basics, okay? Everyone needs to start somewhere.
Yes,
Great. I'm
I'm
so
sure you
happy for
can
you.
find the right place to start again, Gabby. Sometimes I think that to take a step forward and move on from the place you are, sometimes you have to take two steps back,
Mm-hmm.
because things sometimes doesn't seem the same when you're too close.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I agree with that 100%. I'm really big on listening to myself, like my body, listening to my mind. Mental health is very important to me. So if I feel like I'm starting to roll downhill and not be so positive or hopeful about something, I will definitely pump the brakes and digest and try to unpack what's going on. And I think that, yeah, my frustration was coming from a place of this is not going the way that I thought it was going to go, or this is not going the way I wanted to go. Um, and I've seen some evolution to where in the beginning I just hated being a stew. I hated it. Literally, there wasn't one thing I could say that I liked about it. But I've gotten to a place now where I like it. I'm not super duper passionate about it, but I know that I'm a good stew and I have a lot of growing to do and I like it. So that's cool. Great. At least that. But I do know that I thrive on deck and I love being outside and I love learning new things in terms of, boat maintenance. And I love learning about the engine room, and I just want to be true to myself. And I think that any boat that hires me will get the best out of me if they put me in a position that I love. you know, or anybody actually. Where do these people thrive the best? Is it inside or outside? So I think that I'm getting to a place now where I'm just going to be more firm and get more certifications. I was looking at your CV like, okay, I mean, I need to get this one still. I need to get this one. So,
Definitely, it's been a long way. I mean, I'm still at Deckhand. I'm not even like boson on anything yet, and I've been pushed a lot from some people. They tell me like, you should go and do this and that. You should be at this time. Like, come on, it's been more than 5 years. You should be a boson now. And it's not lack of confidence. I do believe that to be able to be on a senior position, I just imagine myself like my juniors crew members making questions to me that I can't answer because I wasn't prepared enough for this position. So I do believe that you need to nail the basics first. And I'm still working on them. Right now, I have an amazing supporting team. My captain is all over about the education. So I get a lot of support from that here. Officers, the bosun, everything is good. So you have to surround yourself from the right people as well.
Yes, that's absolutely true. You want to be in an environment where you feel supported, that's uplifting, that you want to be around people that motivate you, that you're like, oh, I want to be like you one day, or I want to have as much knowledge as you one day. That's very essential to developing crew members, right? Is like making them feel like they can be better, but without putting them down. And that's kind of really hard to find, it seems, in our industry.
Yes.
I feel like everyone is so quick to make you feel stupid for asking a question. A lot of people that I encounter, their attitude is like, ugh, how do you not know that? And it can be very discouraging. Like you said, if you're away from your country, maybe you don't speak the language, you don't know anybody, and you're new to the position. It's just like, it can be very disheartening sometimes, but you have to believe in yourself and you have to do what you can to educate yourself, whether that's YouTube or watching videos or getting on your Facebook networks and asking questions. Like, you have to do your part too, so you can earn that respect, right?
100%. Yeah, now we are doing a lot of navigation. So every time that I have my lookout on the bridge, I'm like, just like shooting questions to my officer. I'm like, what about this and that? Now ask me, please. So we like make our study program to be ready for the next step. Right now, I think all of us, we kind of stuck with the COVID situation, but it's about to put yourself up and just believe that you can, because in the end, I think we all have ourselves. That's it.
And you know what? That's a great place to end this interview. It's been so great getting to know you, Sol, and thank you so much for your time. You're an inspiration to me, and I'm sure so many other young women out there that want to join the industry. So thank you so much for that. And yeah, like, I'm just like speechless. I'm like, I'm gonna sign up for a class next week.
That's great. That's the attitude that we need, Gabby.
So thank you so much for joining us. And thank you everyone at home that's watching Diversity in Yachting. I'm your host, Gabriela. This is Sol, and we will see you next week on our next episode of Diversity in Yachting. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ciao, Gaby. Te veo. Adiós.